on the line. So my name is Numan. I'm the host for the Innovation Dance, a program on innovation, entrepreneurship, and leadership. And we're planning to do this program on the first Saturday and the third Saturday of the month. With me is my dear friend, Mubashir Khanzada. So I'm going to ask Mubashir to talk about his background as well.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mubashir, and welcome on board. So basically, I'm an entrepreneur with extensive background in IT and digital and information technology related business areas, and also have a keen interest in leadership, in innovation and entrepreneurship. And as we will talk and develop these themes further on during the program, and they are all interconnected. But I have a keen interest in how creativity works, and therefore I have been running a workshop separately on creative thinking and innovation as well.
Good. So my background is 20 plus years of corporate service in operations, product development, strategy, innovation, and also a number of entrepreneurial works that I've done. So we were discussing this program, myself and Mubashir, and we came up with the idea that right now, with our experience, we can create impact and we can bring value. So this is the program that we are bringing to you. I like to start with innovation first. So innovation is something that you've all heard this word. And these three words on the screen, innovation, entrepreneurship, and leadership, they are connected to each other. They may not mean the same thing, but they need each other to be successful. And this is one of the areas, one of the ideas that we want to talk about throughout these programs, that what is innovation, what is entrepreneurship, and what is leadership. So for me, innovation is about turning an idea into a solution that adds value for the customer. So that is a very basic definition for me for innovation. You want to add something, Mubashir, to this definition?
Yeah, I think I would agree to the basic definition. I think an idea converted into something useful with an outcome that really does something beneficial is innovation.
Right. And then the entrepreneurship is in my view, is a pursuit of an opportunity beyond the resources controlled. So this is a basic definition I'm just putting for entrepreneurship, is that is the pursuit of opportunity, because entrepreneurship requires risk. Entrepreneurship requires going into a territory which is unknown. And sometimes innovation is going into that unknown, defining or exploring something which is not known. So this is why a lot of times I feel that they kind of need each other. And Mubashir, what do you think about this?
I think that's correct. Accessing resources that are currently beyond currently being controlled, dealing with uncertainty, dealing with risk, dealing with and pursuing some sort of an opportunity that can convert into something, into a surplus of some sort that currently doesn't exist.
Right. So for the audience, if you have any questions, we have a small group and feel free to raise hand. We want this to be a conversation between all of us. So just feel free to raise your hand if you have any question, and then we can take those questions. So this is the whole idea about this this program, that we want to discover, we want to go deeper into this innovation, entrepreneurship, and leadership, and this is the innovation dance. So it's innovation. The dance word is, Mubashir, tell me about this dance word. We came up with this word dance. What was like the reason behind this dance?
You're actually thinking a lot about what are we trying to accomplish here, and what would represent a good way to encapsulate the concept. And I think the idea kind of emerged that it's going to be dynamic. It's going to it for it to look beautiful, and for that matter, dance is a movement and an expression of emotions and enjoyment as well. All of those themes, but especially the dynamicism, was captured in this word, the innovation dance. And you have to be careful, because if you are not paying attention, you would be out of tune with the music, or you would be stepping on your partner's toes, or colliding with somebody else, or it might just look quite random, etc. All of these things could actually be seen in a innovation journey in quite a lot of cases. So it kind of looked like it would be a good fit. What about you,
Mm-hmm.
Numan? What did you think about it?
No, I think it's you know, many times we do a dance. You know, we tap around certain things when we are in a difficult situation. So a lot of times we do a dance. So I think those are the ideas. But I like to maybe, we have few of us here on the line here. Um, Maybe I like to know more about you guys. Hamad, tell us about yourself. Who are you? Where are you coming from? What is your background? And what is your interest?
Hello.
Yes, yes, Hamad. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I've done my master's in digital signal processing, and after that, I went to another field and everything, so I couldn't pursue it. But now I've started pursuing my subject and everything in artificial intelligence and machine learning. And currently, I'm working with Mubashir on some of his ideas that he has, and trying to go forward from there.
Oh, very good. Very good. We have some programs in which we can connect you and in the machine learning space. There's a nonprofit that I'm working on, so maybe there's an opportunity we can connect you in that. So welcome to the program. Thank you. There's Jordan.
Hi, I'm Jordan. I work with Industry X. It's a new center for operational excellence being launched by Wayne State University. So I work with Noman on that. I'm primarily marketing and communications, so I'm really interested to kind of sit in and learn a little more about entrepreneurship and actual industry terminology and information. So yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you, Jordan. Next person is Saddam Shah. Welcome to the program.
Hi, hi everyone. Sorry, my mic was mute. So thank you so much. Currently, I'm doing my master's in cybersecurity, and I am doing it specifically in the field of vulnerability finders and scanners in particular. And currently, I'm doing a job as a senior developer. So that's all, pretty much everything about me.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. If you maybe in the chat box, if you drop your email addresses, I can connect you with some resources as we move forward. So, okay, very
Yeah.
good. So now let's get into the program here. So the program that we have designed, the first part of the program is we like to work on the mindset first. Okay, so in the first 4 programs, we have designed on the mindset, because to be an entrepreneur, to be an innovator, or to be a leader, the mindset is fundamental. Without mindset, you cannot achieve these things, even though we can tell you the techniques or maybe the theory behind innovation and everything. It requires a different type of mindset. So the first 4 programs, this program we're talking about the Z to A mindset. So what is Z to A mindset? You will learn about this. Second program we will do the next on the 3rd Saturday is on the journey to excellence. So to be an entrepreneur, to be successful, to be for an innovator to be successful, you need to become excellent. What is that journey look like? What are the steps in that journey? So second program, we will talk about that. In the 3rd program, this journey starts with a dream, a big dream. So in the 3rd program, we will talk about a big dream. How do you make dreams? How do you find your dream? So the 3rd program is all about the big dream. And then the 4th program is about the pursuit of that dream. So people need to pursue that dream, because the dream is nothing unless you pursue it. How do you pursue it? What are the steps to pursue that dream is the 4th program. Mubashir, you want to add something to this?
I think it would be an interesting journey, and the format of the program is more of a interactive, sort of like a fireside discussion, sharing ideas and concepts, while there is an overarching theme underneath it, which provides a kind of a cohesiveness. It's also quite a lot more extemporary and incorporating people's own ideas and feedback and input as well. So in a way, for us to do it, it's not like a lecturer going through in a classroom environment, lecturer just delivering from their static notes. This is very much an innovation journey for us as well. And we don't know where it would lead to, how it would evolve. And that's part of the innovation dance.
Right. Okay. All right. So I want to start with these 2 key decisions. So we all know this gentleman. We have seen this gentleman throughout our life. We have used the products produced by this person. And I want to talk about the 2 key decisions that this person made in his life. So Mubashir, go ahead with the first decision. You all know this person.
Yes, we are talking about Bill Gates, the founder and CEO and later on chairman of Microsoft Corporation. Basically, it's a kind of a common story, but we are focusing on specifically on the decision process with regards to the big end goal and the mindset of the entrepreneur. From very early age, Gates was quite a bright student. His father was a lawyer and mother was on the board of directors of some prominent companies as well. The parents wanted their son to be a lawyer, and in pursuit of that, he got admission into one of the most prestigious universities for pursuing law degree in Harvard University. But Gates was interested in electronics. He was reading up on the new innovations. Excuse me. So, and in one of the magazines in the popular electronics, he read about the new computer that was being built. So he approached the company, and the most interesting thing I found in that story was that he with his childhood friend, Paul Allen, approached a company and said to them that they are working on a software for that new computer system. While they hadn't written a single line of code, this was just this was just to gauge the interest from the company, whether or not they would be interested in talking to these guys. And when the company showed interest, MITS was the name of the company, they showed interest, then in the next few weeks, they built the software. So it shows the kind of approach and the mindset about how he was thinking about his entrepreneurial journey. But the key decision that he made was to leave Harvard and not to become a lawyer. I mean, he would probably have been a good enough lawyer as well, but there were so many other lawyers, and many are brilliant lawyers. So he would have been one of the many. But he chose his destiny. He moved away from a set path that his parents were thinking about, and he had a vision in his mind, something that was much more aligned with his ambitions to create something that would be unique and different. And very early on, he was thinking big. I think the tagline for the early organization for Microsoft was Windows on every computer. And it wasn't something that was too common a knowledge or too common a phenomena that in every house there would be a computer. We are talking about late 1970s, so 1975, 1978 kind of area, where he was thinking more of this is something that I'm going to build, and then one day there would be computers everywhere in every household, and my software would be running on top of all of those computers. So he left Harvard, made a critical key decision in pursuit of his end destination or goal that he had in his mind, which was aligned with his ambition, with his values, with his beliefs, and with his self-confidence.
Wonderful. You know, one thing that is really intrigued me in this story is his vision for future. And he was like thinking maybe 5, 10, 20 years ahead when he started this journey. And if you see that the people who are winning are the people who have a vision, who are thinking ahead. Because if you want to maybe build a company to compete with Uber, there's no chance for you to build an Uber now. There's no chance for you to build a Tesla now. You need to have this vision. You need to have this, the mindset of innovation that you can see and think ahead. And also the entrepreneurship piece, where he was willing to take risk, where he was willing.
He was just 17 years old. I mean,
yeah, I know. And then the other one is very intriguing. The guy is the chairman of Microsoft, and he left the company. He said, I want to start this Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I want to help people lead healthy, productive lives. And he started that foundation and leaving Microsoft. And that is also that is also the mindset that he had, that I want to create more impact. I want to create more value. I want to bring more meaning, not only to my life, but to the other people. And those are the things that are found there, that are the foundations of entrepreneurship, innovation. And that's what the leader brings. Okay. So that's what is very intriguing to me. And it's just very profound. With this, I like to bring this poem, which is Road Less Traveled, one of my favorite poems that brings which is a very profound poem. We're always offered a few different options in life. Okay. And sometimes the options are, okay, there is a path where we can walk, which is well established. Our parents have walked through that path. Our colleagues have walked through that path. Many people have walked through the paths. Uh, and Bill Gates would have also traveled that path, becoming a lawyer, becoming maybe a bigger lawyer, becoming a more bigger lawyer, okay, and doing something in that line, which a lot of the lawyers do. But Mubashir, what do you think? Why he choose to become the Microsoft, or because this is the key point which intrigues me, that why people make that decisions.
It's a very interesting question because I suppose people have an innate sense and internally a restlessness to explore things. Human beings are explorers. We are a contradiction in the making. Basically, we say that we don't like change, but on the other hand, we get bored with monotony as well. There is certain charm in going down the road less traveled and not knowing where it would lead, and who knows what we will discover and what we will find. Um, if we talk about specific people, like Gates is being used as an example, and regardless of what people think about him, whether he is brilliant or evil genius or whatever, it doesn't matter. As an example of a journey that has been taken and allowed certain things to be done, or the journey having the milestones being achieved. It's an interesting illustrative example. And I was reading about him last night that in his school, they had the ability to engage with computers. There were some number of hours allocated and provided to students. So they made a little software to manage the traffic in their hometown. And he also, as part of his learning process, created an algorithm for sorting out pies. And his algorithm was the fastest for 30 years. It held that record. I mean, we think about him doing a fantastic job from his perspective with the agreement that he did with IBM and just licensed the software rather than copyright being given to IBM. But he had kind of those initial indicators. And when after 30 years, his algorithm was beaten by another algorithm, it was just by 2%. So his algorithm was that good. And in early days, he was writing his software and rewriting it many times, or writing the software that others had written in his company and adding his code to it and rewriting parts of it. So I think it was basically the charm of exploring an unknown territory, finding out what lies ahead, and also being quite smart and being clever about it to see that it's an innovation that can potentially change the way people work and way people live. So that's kind of the hallmarks of some of the visionaries, Gates, maybe Steve Jobs, or Larry Ellison from Oracle, Elon Musk. So these people that are well-known examples, they kind of tend to look way ahead on the horizon and see what's to come. And then they connect it with human needs, the basic human emotions and needs and requirements. And I think that's one of the very interesting aspects of innovation and entrepreneurship as well. And leadership then makes it happen later on in terms of execution. But initial part is making those connections, connecting the dots together and evaluating that if A and B are the requirements and C needs both A and B. So in the middle, in the intersection here, there is going to be something interesting happening, and let's be part of that interesting story.
Right. So this poem goes like this: that two roads diverged in a yellow wood. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the underneath. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. This road less traveled is what I called the Z mindset. This is where the people with a vision, with a purpose, and the courage to take this road, only those people travel this road. So for this road to travel is you need to have a vision, and then you need to have the courage, and it's the fundamental uh, pieces of this road less traveled. Um, so we normally go A to Z because we always hear A to Z, A to Z, A to Z, and it is a known path. I did this A to Z path. I graduated very fast, and I went into. So I take a few minutes, talk about my journey. I graduated from high school. From high school, I went to the university. From university, I went to another university for a master's program. Found a job, did another master's, continued in a job, and worked my way up in different positions. But at that time, I'm just thinking backward that I was kind of going after positions. Oh, I want to become this guy, a manager. So this is the progression. So employee, supervisor, manager, director, VP, and maybe the CEO of the company or something like this. Nothing wrong with that, but that is the path a lot of people do, a lot of people take. Because it's a known path. We have seen people who have been on this path, and we have seen people who have done quite well in this path. But we see Elon Musk, who created Tesla. We see Larry Ellison. We see Bill Gates. We see Steve Jobs. And they did not take this path, A to Z path. Okay? They take a different path. What do you think, Mubashir?
Yeah, exactly. I think basically, if you do what you have always done, you will get what you have always got. I think I think maybe it was definition of insanity by Einstein, that expecting something different while doing the same thing is the definition of insanity. And I think it's a very, very important characteristic of human beings that we try to explore other things and new areas. And that is the fundamental tenet that has allowed our societies to explore and grow and invent and find new things, and whether it be geographic exploration, finding the unknown corners of the world, so sail out onto the uncharted waters, or whether it be technological one. You mentioned about Larry Ellison there. Basically, an interesting article. What he did was, back in 70s, I mean, relational database technology wasn't new. It was like 20, 30 years ago. It was proposed back in 60s and what have you. But he saw that it was remarkably more efficient and better than what was already there. And therefore, he built a company around a technological breakthrough, resulting in Oracle's supremacy in the databases world, or relational databases, RDBMS, relational database management systems world. And so goes for the story for micrcomputers and Gates and Jobs and others. And in other industries as well, whether it be genetic engineering, which is a new thing happening now, or artificial intelligence, or the blockchains, or the other advancements in different fields. People who are looking at the breakthroughs and then connecting those breakthroughs with basic underlying essential human needs or emotions are going to find interesting times ahead. Not all of them would succeed, but the ideas themselves are there, and therefore whoever executes the idea in a good way is probably going to have a successful path ahead.
No, I agree. I agree with you. But look at maybe some other examples of these Z to A minded people. So the Z minded people are the people who have a purpose. Z is purpose. So you start with the purpose, and then you find the journey. Okay. So that is the difference between A to Z and Z to A. A to Z is, okay, you go on a journey, and somewhere on the journey, you try to find the purpose. Or maybe you just go on the journey because maybe you want to just make money or you want to live. Um, but the Z to A minded people start with the purpose first. That they start with, okay, where I'm heading, and then they define the journey after that. And that is the main difference between these two type of people. Uh, this person, J.K. Rowling's, it's just a wonderful story. J.K. Rowling's, uh, she was an admin. 1990, she was on a train from Manchester to London, and she came up with this idea of writing um, this novel or this series, one of the most profitable franchise, Harry Potter. So in a train, and she said, "I'm just gonna do it," and the rest is history. And it was not easy. It was just a lot of work. It was a lot of difficulties. She was at one time was on social insurance, so it was not easy. But she knew that what she has to do. Um, Another guy is Martin Luther King. Mubashir, what do you think about Martin Luther King? Legacy of Martin Luther King.
Yeah, actually, for both. But first, before that, for J.K. Rowling, I think basically she says that she couldn't afford to heat up her house, so she used to go to the nearby coffee shop and used to write in the coffee shop because it was warmer there. And you mentioned that rest is history, so it's the boy wizard who lived, and that's basically all came together, and she pursued it. And the interesting part there was that her initial manuscript, I can't remember if it was rejected by, it was like a ridiculous number of publishers rejected it before it was finally accepted, and then there was a bidding war, and then it became a phenomenon later. So, the journey of innovation, the journey of entrepreneurship, or the life journey itself in general, quite often is littered with hurdles and difficulties. And which brings us to the phenomenal Dr. King himself. I think his "I Have a Dream" speech and the way he approached it, and the way he conducted himself in the face of aggression, in the face of racism, which is very apt topic for nowadays in what has been happening in the recent months as well. I think these are good examples to look up to as role models and to learn from and adopt the key concepts in our own lives and in our own journeys of success as well.
Right. So same thing, and also like Henry Ford. He was a classic innovator who disrupted the market. So at that time, the automotive was a luxury. He produced a car which was accessible to everyone. He produced a common man car. Okay, Ford Motor Company, the founder of Ford Motor Company, and that was his legacy. He was the chief developer of assembly line concept, a great innovator, American innovator. So these are the people have a vision. They start with something and they're willing to give up things. They're willing to do anything to pursue that journey. But in this journey, we would like to talk about two key concepts, because that is very important to understand this journey, the Z to A mindset. Number one is effectiveness. Okay. Effectiveness is about leadership and direction. Effectiveness is about where are you heading? Where are you going? And that is very important. And that is the key concept that these people follow. And the second one is, which comes after, is Mubashir, tell us about this efficiency concept.
Well, scientifically, it's the output divided by input, and you can make a really, really good, very efficient, very robust life jacket out of concrete, and it would probably pass all the ISO 9000 certification rules as well. But would it be effective? If you wore a life jacket made of concrete, and God forbid, if you are put in water, I think it would be not a lifesaver. It would probably be like what the old timers, pirates used to do to drown people. So absolutely. Many times people start climbing up on the corporate ladder, but they don't realize against which wall and which ladder it's leaning against. So you are going up and up and up, but very important to understand whether or not it's the right ladder, it's against the right wall, and that's where you want to be in and want to go forward.
No, it's very profound. And these two concepts are fundamental for success: effectiveness and efficiency. But the order is very important as well. If you try to be efficient first and then effective, I think you're not going to get to where that you want to go. Bill Gates, when he chose the direction, when he chose that he's going to build Microsoft, he was effective. He did not choose efficiency to become a lawyer and work very hard to become the best lawyer, because that was, I think it was, he would have become maybe a good lawyer, one of the top lawyers, but we would not have seen a guy, Bill Gates, who built a $1 trillion company. To build that $1 trillion company, you need effectiveness, because efficiency is not going to build a $1 trillion company. Jeff Bezos, look at him, investment banker, a very remarkable career on Wall Street and in finance, and then he left. He started Amazon. So he did not say, okay, I'm just going to work very hard and do more in that, because he wanted to be more effective first, and which is the principle of leadership.
This is where, proverbially they say, do the right thing first and then do it right. Like the right thing versus doing it right.
I have a question for everyone. I like to engage the audience here. So I live in Detroit, and I want to go to, I could go to Chicago and I can go to New York. Okay. And I have a Bugatti and I have a bike. Okay. So New York is 612 miles from Detroit, and Chicago is 214 miles from Detroit. So my question is, who will get to Chicago first, the Bugatti or the bike? This is an open question to the audience.
I would say it depends on the road, how the road is, and if it's clear, or for example, if it's all downhill from Detroit to Chicago, and then no traffic there, and there's lots of traffic jams, like I said, depends upon the road traveled.
Okay. Other, Jordan or Saddam?
I would say likely the Bugatti, just from what I know about cars, but I can't be sure. I guess it would depend on how fast both are going. But
what about Ali? Ali, you're online.
Yeah, I think that the Bugatti would win.
Bugatti will win.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yes,
Saddam?
I would agree with Mr. Ahmad. It would be depending on different parameters as well. Like he said, like he mentioned, the traffic would be one of the parameters. The road could be one of the parameters. So after examining all of those involving parameters, we could get up to decision which one would would be better.
Okay. So Bugatti is going to New York. Okay. It's a very fast car, can maybe go to 200 miles an hour if there's no speed limit. And the bike is going to Chicago. So my question is, who will get to Chicago first? Bugatti will never get to Chicago because the Bugatti is going to New York. Even though it's a fast car, but Bugatti is not going to Chicago. Bugatti is going to New York. So that Bugatti is never going to go to Chicago. You know, the bike, yeah, for sure. It's maybe slower than the Bugatti, but it will get to Chicago because the bike is going to Chicago. And this is the difference between this is the difference between effectiveness and efficiency. Bugatti is efficient, very, very efficient, but not effective in this case. Okay. But if you switch, you give a Bugatti to Chicago and the bike to New York, definitely the Bugatti will get to Chicago first and maybe very fast, because then it has a direction. And that is the main difference in life. Where people make choices is this choice. Do you want to pick efficiency first, or do you want to pick effectiveness first? And effectiveness may be a slow journey. I give you one example. Amazon made one of his biggest profits in 2016 after 14 years of its foundation. 14 years. So it was not like Amazon become as big as we see now. It took Amazon about 14 years to be that where it was in 2016. But then from 2016 to 2020, exponential growth, because they were ready, because they had the right direction. What do you guys think? Do you agree?
Yeah, I think it's completely understandable.
Right. So Ali, what you need to do is you need to think about the direction first, what you want to do in life. You're young right now. Ali is my son, so he's joining the call. And the lesson is, at this early age, you don't want to go for efficiency. You don't want to go for, okay, I'm going to become this and I'm going to work very hard. You need to think about that. What do you want to do first? And then work hard to become that, you know?
That's a tough
You were adding something?
I'm just thinking that for all these youngsters, Bugatti, bicycle. Bugatti, bicycle. Even if it's going in the wrong direction, you're going to enjoy the views and the hum of it and the thrill of it. But absolutely, that is the key thing. I mean, think about getting into Howard is not that easy. It's a really competitive, it's a very, very prestigious school. But both Gates and Zuckerberg dropped out of it. Jobs actually was not at Howard, but he was still studying something, and then he dropped out of that as well. And main thing is that I'm not encouraging you to drop out of your education careers. What I'm suggesting, what Numan is saying as well, is think really deep and hard about your long-term, where you want to be. What is it that you can visualize? And I think we have a program coming up after these initial 4 about smarter goals. So, you have SMART goals, you can have smarter goals, and you'll talk about this in more detail about how to set up goals and what are the good characteristics of good goals. But main thing here is, although it looks like very flashy and very nice, and there would be a short-term thrill of sitting and zooming through and having 200 miles an hour, and then maybe even outrunning the cops, etc. It would put you in trouble, by the way. Don't do it. I'm just jokingly saying it. But think about the equivalent of that whole flashy thing that Zuckerberg and Gates had in terms of getting into the prestigious colleges of Harvard and for many that would be a life dream achieved, because then you are set, you are on a train that everybody else on the train as well, but that train is going to a particular destination. The thing with trains is that it's great to catch the train, but it's also quite fixed in its trails. It's going to go wherever the tracks are going to lead. You can't turn right or left. And who knows, there may be fantastic pastures and fantastic avenues that if you had taken a different road, a road less traveled, that may have led to a very different outcome than going to the same destination that everybody else is going as well.
Right. So I want to close this with this. We all know this gentleman, okay? 27 years of prison, okay, for a just cause, Nelson Mandela. I was in South Africa last year. I visited his house and I read more about his stories and everything. Um, so I want to close with this with William Ernest Henley's poem, "I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." And it goes like this: out of the night that covers me, black as pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced or cried aloud. Under the bulldoing of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. So this is a poem by William Henry. Um, the journey is difficult. The journey is challenging, but it's a well worth journey. I close with this, and I open to Mubashir. Do you have any comments?
I think this is a very powerful point, but also the notion about being the master of my fate and being captain of my soul is a very powerful, liberating. It frees you up to know that we have choices because we are in control of something. And no matter how dark the night seems and how difficult the situation may be, and we are currently in COVID-19 era, the 2020 year would be known for that for a very long time in living memory as well. But no matter how difficult it looks like, we have choices. And by executing those choices, that gives us empowerment. So it's a strong message, and I think if we take it to heart, we can make better lives and more useful lives for ourselves and for others as well.
Right. So I open up to the audience here. We have a few more minutes. What do you think about this concept? What do you think about this idea? Hamad?
The idea, I agree with many of the things you said and everything, and it resonates with me as well. And I was also going to change my answer. I was about to say, can the bike go on a train? So if the bike can go on a train, that would have been faster. But still, it was a trick question. I late understood that.
Right.
So yeah.
But what do you get out of this program today? What is the main, some key
Uh,
points that you get out of this
I,
today?
I think we're all the point that I get was I think we all are on either we're taught this way, or it's the society and everywhere it's going in one direction like a flow of river. So it's very easy to get caught up in that flow and follow everyone. So your thinking, your behavior, and everything is gets similar. Like the answer to that train question was like two people answered one way and two people answered the same, but it was effectively you're going on the wrong direction instead of the right one because we didn't know what the right direction was. So it would have been ineffective and inefficient as well in continuing on the wrong direction, and no matter how much hard work you put in everything. So you should stop and check where you're going, see the direction you're going in. That's what I gauged and everything from your
Right.
lecture.
No, good point. Jordan, what do you think?
I think it was super helpful. You know, especially I am just now beginning my career, so you know, hearing that there's not really a wrong answer, and that no matter which path you take, if you're driven by your purpose and what you actually want to accomplish, you'll eventually kind of get there. So that was a super helpful message, especially right now, and I think it was it's super important, especially for people who are entering, you know, their career right now, and you know, amongst everything that's happening. So yeah, very helpful.
No, good. But we will discuss more about finding purpose, because we talked about purpose, but how do you find purpose? How do you find your dream?
Right.
So that's something I think we're gonna talk in the next programs.
Sure.
That would help you and maybe other people to know about that.
Yeah, that'd be super helpful.
Yeah. What about Saddam? What do you think?
Yeah, basically, I haven't thought about the Z2A concept before. This was new to me, and it really you know surprised me that I could even think of that way as well. Before this seminar, I was always thinking about the usual and the traditional way. Most of the people chose the way that A to Z. So this was pretty much actually absolutely new thing for me, and that's very much learning from learning point of view. I have a new thing to learn from here. So I'm very much okay with what's coming up next in this thing.
Right.
I'm looking forward for this.
Yeah, and we will learn about different techniques to innovate and to become an entrepreneur in our in this journey together. So stick around.
Yes,
We will
yes,
we will learn
absolutely.
more. Yeah, sure. Ali and Saddam, can you drop your maybe email so that we can maybe send you some information?
Yeah, sure. I will
Yeah,
drop it.
just drop in the chat box. Ali, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a very good meeting. Coming from going to senior year in my high school year, I'm thinking about the future because I have to go to college, and I think that what you're saying is putting me in the right direction, because obviously my vision is a bit blurry right now, and maybe if I practice those things you were saying, like how to make better goals in life, then maybe I can have a better vision and find my true passion.
Right. No, that's good. Bilal, you have any comments?
I'm just listening right now. But I think that it's important that we look at these excellent human beings that have come up as who have become legends and people to look up to and follow their pathway, because they had a lot of mistakes that they had done, and we can learn from those mistakes and use those or leverage those mistakes and not do them again in our lives. And what this does is it allows us to go to our goals or get to our purpose quicker than what it would actually take.
Right. No, it's a key point, very fundamental point that you made about making mistakes. No, anyway, I think I appreciate me and Mubashir, we appreciate you coming on the program today. The next program is on the 13th, and that program will be about the journey of excellence. It's the third Saturday. So we will see you back on the 13th. And that's at that time, we will be talking about the 5 steps of how do you achieve success? How do you achieve excellence? Okay. Which is fundamental to this innovation and entrepreneurship. Any closing comments, Mubashir? You're mute. Mubashir, you're mute.
Sorry. I am excited about the journey. I am excited about what lies ahead. I think it's going to be really, really useful because I think along the way, we are going to learn new things ourselves as well. And hopefully through this kind of participatory, interactive session, we are going to have interesting discussions.
Right, right. Okay, so thank you, everyone. We wish you a great Saturday, a great weekend. And thank you for investing your time with us. We really do appreciate that. And stick around. We will be back and we'll talk some more. And thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers. Hoping to
Yeah.
Thank you.